Yo, 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 how you doing? We're going to be doing a little review here on factoring quadratics. Now we're going to have factoring in general, getting ready for the quiz that's coming up. Yes, I know how excited you are. So without further ado, let's get rid of my ugly mug. Deuce is ugly. And we'll see a few of these problems now. I'm going to go over this one, and then I'm going to have you try a set that's very similar. So this is factoring out a common factor. Okay. And we go ahead and we start with the numbers first. Okay. So I look at these 45, 45, 20. 20 is the smallest of them. So I'm thinking of things that I can divide into 20. And there is a little rule here, a little trick here that you can use. If all of the numbers end in a 5 or a 0, that means I can divide by 5. So I'm going to divide them by 5 to start. That's going to give me negative 9r to the third plus 9r squared minus 4r. I'm going to divide by 5. Okay, keep going. I have 9, 9, and 4. 4 is the smallest one. I can't divide 9 by 4. I can't divide 9 by 2, so 1, it's done. So I'm done with the numbers. Okay, now I got to check my variables. Okay, and then the variables, the smallest one is an r to the first. So I'm going to divide that r to the first out. Okay, when I divide that r to the first out, I'm going to get negative 9 r squared. I'm taking one of those out. Taking one of these out. That's going to be positive 9r. And I'm taking this r out, so I just have minus 4. And remember, what I divided out gets put out in front. So 5 times 1r is 5r. Okay, and that's all the further we would go with this one right here. Okay, now I want y'all to go ahead and do these two problems. Factor them out. Greatest common factor. Oh, you're supposed to pause the video and do these. Okay, let's go over these. So for the first one, I can divide out a 7. So that's going to give me 2x squared plus 1x to the third plus 2x to the fourth. Smallest number is a 1, so 1, it's done. And I'm looking at my x's. The smallest one is this x squared. So I'm going to divide out the x squared. Okay. And that's going to leave me with 2 plus 1x plus 2x squared. That's what goes inside of my parentheses. Okay, on the outside, 7 times 1x squared is 7x squared. Okay, now this is a quadratic, just like the last one, but there's nothing else that we could do with it because I can't get magic numbers for that. And we'll eventually see those types of problems a little bit more down the road, okay? Let's look at this one. Factoring out just a common factor. See, ends in 0, ends in, no. So smallest number is 4. Oh, look at that. I can divide them all by 4. So let's divide them all by 4. That's going to give me 10m to the 6th minus 10m to the 5th minus 1m to the 3rd. Okay, smallest number is 1. So when it's 1, it's done. Now I'm looking at my letters, and I'm looking for the smallest exponent, and that would be an exponent of 3. So I'm going to divide that out. Now when I divide that exponent of 3 out, I'm going to take 3 of those away. So that's going to leave me with 10m to the 3rd. I'm divide out m to the 3rd here, so I'm going to take 3 of those exponents, and that's going to be minus 10m squared. And I'm going to take all 3 of those m's, so that's going to leave me with minus 1. Oops, I accidentally wrote a 3 there and said squared. 10m squared minus 1. Okay, don't forget, Need to multiply those. That's going to leave me with 4m to the third. Okay. Now, that's just factoring out the common factor. Okay, the greatest common factor, that is. And now, let's look at factoring completely. Okay, so this is where we're factoring our quadratic. So a reminder, we start off, and we've been using the airplane method. We start off, what can I divide into all three of those? 9, 18, and 8. And smallest number is 8, and 8, 4, 2, none of those work, so 1, it's done. Okay, so I start on my magic numbers. Reminder, these numbers on top are A, B, and C. M squared, M, no letters. So 9 times 8 is 72. That adds up to be negative 18. Okay. Well, we have to figure this out. So let's start off. 1 times 72 is 72. 1 plus 72 is 73. Not it. Next number is 2. 72 divided by 2 is 36. If I add those up, that's 38. Not it. Next number is 3. 72 divided by 3 is 24. 3 plus 24, that's not it. 4. 72 divided by 4 is 18. 4 plus 18 is 20. It's getting closer, but it's not quite there yet. Okay, that's not it. 5, that's a decimal. 6, 72 divided by 6 is 12. Well, 6 plus 12 is positive 18. So I have to remember that I'm allowed to do negative times a negative. Negative 6 times negative 12 is positive 72. Negative 6 plus negative 12 is negative 18. So got it. Took me a little while, but I got it. Okay, let's put our wings out. Reminder, we start with this part, the 9m. So 9m, 9m. Okay, and then my magic numbers go in the second part. So I have minus 6, and I have minus 12. And now, one last time, we're looking for what can divide out. Okay, we're going to put our wheels down. So between 9 and 6, I can divide out a 3. Between 9 and 12, I can divide out a 3. And I checked my tires. 3 times 3, that is 9. So far, so good. I just got to make sure I divide it out correctly. This one becomes 3m minus 2. And this one becomes 3m minus 4. And that would be my factor form. Now, what I want you to do is I want you to pause the video, and I want you to complete these 4 problems. All right, let's take a look here. Once done, magic numbers, multiplies to be 20, adds up to be 9. The magic numbers here are 4 and 5. 4 times 5 is 20, 4 plus 5 is 9. And I start off 1v plus 4, 1v plus 5. Okay, put your tires down, divide out a 1, divide out a 1, and that should work because 1 times 1 is 1. And I have my answer. This would be v plus 4 times v plus 5. Reminder, as long as you have these two binomials, you have the correct answer. Okay. Number 2. See, look for something to divide out. 1, it's done. Okay, multiplies 5 times negative 3 is negative 15. It's got to add up to be negative 14. And this one is 1 in the number. 1 times negative 15 is negative 15. 1 plus negative 15 is negative 14. So put your wings out. Starting it with 5x. And then I put my magic numbers. Plus 1, minus 15. Okay, those 2 magic numbers. Something to divide out from this first one. Divide out a 1. Second one, I can divide out a 5. 1 times 5, that is 5. So I know I'm doing it okay. Just make sure you divide correctly. This would be 5x plus 1. And the second one, when I divide both of those by 5, I get x minus 3. Okay. Number 3. Might have been a little hard to get your magic numbers on this one, but it is not impossible. Okay. Look for something to divide out. And when it's done, multiplies to be 54, adds up to be negative 29. And the two magic numbers here are -2 and -27. Okay. So start it off, put my wings out. I get 9p to start off both binomials. And I put the magic numbers -2, -27. Look for something to divide out. This first one, there's nothing, so dividing by 1. The second one, I can divide those both by 9. 1 times 9 is 9, so that's checking out. And I just divide it. Be careful, this is going to be p minus 3. And that would be my factored form. Number 4 is the kind that we learned yesterday that you can do a shortcut on. This is difference of squares. Notice it's missing that middle term. It's missing, like on this one, that minus 29p. It's got the m squared, it's got the constant, but it doesn't have the m. So this is difference of squares. It's subtraction in the middle. And you can go straight to your answer. Remember, one of them has to be plus in the middle, one of them has to be minus, and we just use our square roots. Square root of 81m squared is 9m. Square root of 100 is 10. And I'm done. Bada bing, bada boom. That's difference of squares. Okay. Now, what's going to happen? You have to make sure you do upload a picture of those review problems that we just did. And you are going to complete one of the worksheets. Okay. So we have two options. We have the basic worksheet. Now, the basic worksheet, it has a total of 18 problems on it, but you are only doing the odd problems on the basic one. 1, 3, 5, 7, 9, 11, 13, 15, 17. So there's 9 problems. Okay. The other worksheet, our advanced worksheet, the problems are a little bit harder to do. Okay. But some of you need that challenge because these other ones are a little simple for you. So those are the ones that you're going to be using. This one has 12 problems. So just so you can see, because there's 2, this is the basic one right here. It says, how can fishermen save gas? Okay, and it says basic on our Google Classroom. Okay, this is the advanced one. Okay, how do you call a sore on a police officer, or what do you call a sore on a police officer's foot? Okay, that one has 12 problems. Okay, for those of you that are finding this pretty easy. Okay, so those are your 2 options. Let's get those done, and we will see you again another day. Adios. Oh, hasta luego, arrivederci.